all know that postseason is the best season, and earlier today, the MSHSL released the seedings for the 2023 softball playoffs. Round 1 starts this week, so let's see who ended up where. We start in Section 7, Single A. The first round will take place this Tuesday, May 24th. Moose Lake Willow River is your #1 seed, so they've earned a bye. They will meet the winner of the 8th-9th seed matchup between Cromwell Wright and Northwoods. Cherry is your #2 seed, but Northeast Range forfeited, so the Tigers will also have a bye in this round 1. They will meet the winner of #7 MIB and #10 Ely. Floodwood earns the 13th seed and will meet the 4th seed Silver Bay, and #12 Cook County will play #5 Southridge. And lastly, in Single A, 11th seed Chisholm will head to Barnum. Now to Section Double A, also starting this Tuesday. Proctor earns the #2 seed and the bye. They will meet the winner of #7 I Falls and #10 North Lakes Academy. 12th seed Two Harbors faces 5th seed Esco, while #13 Crosby Ironton plays #4 Greenway Nashua Keewatin. Then we have the #14 Duluth Marshall heading to Rush City, and #6 Aiken hosting #11 Pine City. And then the 8-9 matchup between Mesabi East and Mora. Moving over to Section 3A, which starts on Wednesday, we have #3 Hermantown and #6 Grand Rapids, #7 Denfeld heading to #2 North Branch area, and a 4-5 matchup with Cloquet and Hibbing. And then over the bridge, no surprise here, the 22-0 Superior Spartans earn the top spot and the bye in the WIAA playoffs. They will meet the winner of River Falls and Hudson this Thursday, May 25th.